You have power, but not the kind that screams, not the kind that reacts, the kind that pauses, the kind that breathes, the kind that says, I am unbothered because I've trained myself to be. People will test you, test respect you, misunderstand you. You think that's a reason to lose your peace? No, that's the test. Every reaction is a deposit. Every outburst is an expense. Your energy, it's not free anymore. You've got to protect it like it's your legacy. You don't have to prove you're right. You don't have to clap back. Silence is undefeated. Silence walks away without a scratch, while anger leaves scars, mostly on you. Anger is a chain. It pulls you into their chaos. Let them scream. Let them provoke. You stay calm, because calm is power. Calm is control. You don't get angry because you already know who you are. You don't take things personally when you've mastered detachment. See, peace isn't about what happens around you. It's about what you allow inside you. And you don't let weak people decide your mood. You don't let small minds rent space in your head. The trick? Expect nothing. Stop expecting people to understand you, respect you, support you. When you stop expecting, you stop reacting. When you stop reacting, you start winning. They want a reaction. You give them silence. They want chaos. You walk away. That's how you win. That's how you rise. That's how you never get angry or bothered, because your peace is no longer negotiable. Every day, choose peace like your life depends on it, because it does. The first moment you feel heat rising in your chest, stop. Don't speak. Don't react. That moment, that sacred pause, is your battlefield. And if you can hold the line there, even for a few seconds, you've already won. The pause isn't weakness. It's the ultimate act of strength. It's the space where you choose to lead yourself rather than be led by emotion. When someone insults you, your instincts scream to retaliate. But the pause says, not yet. That single breath separates impulse from intention. Most people lose themselves in that space. They get pulled into the moment and forget who they are. But the ones who master the pause, they remember. They stay still while the world tries to shake them. The pause gives you clarity. It hands you perspective on a silver platter. When you pause, you get to ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Am I reacting to them, or am I responding from my truth? Emotions are temporary. Regret isn't. That's what the pause protects you from, the mess that comes when you move too fast. Think about the greatest leaders, the most composed warriors, the sharpest minds. They all have one thing in common. They don't move on impulse. They let silence speak first, because silence always hears more than noise ever could. In the pause, they gather their mind, their values, their vision. Then they respond, not with ego, but with purpose. Most arguments, most regrets, most falls, they begin in that split second of reaction. Birds fly out like bullets with no target. Damage is done. Relationships break. Opportunities vanish. All because no one stopped long enough to breathe. That's how dangerous the absence of a pause can be. And that's how powerful its presence truly is. Pausing is not suppression. It's not about burying how you feel. It's about understanding that not everything you feel needs to become something you do. You're not avoiding the fire. You're controlling it. You're letting the emotion flow through without letting it burn everything in its path. The pause is a filter. It separates what's real from what's emotional noise. Most people don't listen to understand. They listen to react. But when you pause, you shift into a different frequency. You hear what's behind the words. You see what's behind the actions. And you begin to realize most of the time what someone does has more to do with them than with you. Power is not loud, it's not aggressive. True power is still, calm, unwavering. It doesn't need to defend itself. It doesn't need validation. It pauses, it observes, and then it speaks, if it even needs to. That's the level you reach when you master the pause. Emotions arrive like weather, sudden, unpredictable, and often uncontrollable. One moment you're calm, the next you're flooded with anger, sadness, or fear. But just like a storm, emotions aren't meant to stay. They're signals, not sentences. They show up to inform you, not define you. The problem is, too many people hand emotions the keys to their mind and say, stay as long as you want. You feel hurt, and instead of sitting with it, you live in it. You build stories around it. You replay the moment 100 times, each replay sinking the hook deeper. That emotion, which should have been a passing wave, becomes an anchor. But it doesn't have to. You can choose to witness the emotion without becoming it. That's emotional maturity. Not denying feelings, but letting them flow through you like wind through an open window. Every emotion has its purpose. Anger tells you something feels unfair. Sadness signals loss. Fear warns you of danger. But none of those are meant to govern your decisions. They're alerts, not blueprints. When you treat them like permanent residents, you start letting them decorate your life. You start choosing bitterness, building walls, and calling it personality. But that's not you. That's an overstayed emotion acting like it owns the place. You don't get rid of emotions by fighting them. You allow them. You sit with them. You say, I see you. I hear you. But you don't run me. That's where peace is built. Not in pretending to be emotionless, but in not being controlled by every emotional current. You can cry and still have strength. You can be angry and still be wise. The power lies in not letting temporary feelings make permanent decisions. We were never taught how to feel. We were told to be tough, to get over it, to move on. So instead of processing, we suppress. And suppressed emotion becomes poison. It leaks out in our tone, our actions, our relationships. But when you treat emotions as temporary visitors, you give yourself permission to feel and then heal. You let it pass through instead of burying it beneath. A calm life doesn't mean a life without emotion. It means mastering the art of recognizing your emotions without becoming them. You can feel disappointment and still speak with grace. You can feel stress and still move with discipline. The emotion can show up, but it doesn't get to take the wheel. You feel it, then you let it walk out the same door it came in. The danger starts when emotion walks in with a suitcase. It wants to stay, to shape your beliefs, to cloud your clarity. And if you're unaware, you start identifying with it. I am angry becomes your truth, rather than I am feeling anger. That small shift in language is the difference between emotional freedom and emotional slavery. You are not your emotions. You are the space in which they come and go. Peace isn't about being numb. It's about staying open without being overrun. Life will always bring emotion, joy, pain, love, fear, but none of them are meant to be your master. Let them visit, listen to what they came to tell you, and then let them leave. That's how you remain grounded. That's how you remain unshaken. That's how you never let temporary feelings build permanent homes inside your mind. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Just because someone shows up in your life doesn't mean they've earned the right to stay. Access is not a gift, it's a privilege. And the moment you start treating it like that, your peace stops being optional. Too many people let chaos in through open doors, then wonder why they can't find calm. Peace is not something you find out there. It's built from within, and anything that threatens it has to go. No matter how close they are, no matter how long you've known them, the cost, of keeping people around who drain you is too high. When you protect your peace, you stop negotiating with energy vampires. You start filtering every relationship through a simple lens. Does this feed me or deplete me? You don't owe explanations for cutting someone off. You don't owe apologies for going quiet. You don't owe closeness just because of history. Growth means realizing that loyalty to your peace sometimes means disloyalty to other people's expectations. They might call it selfish. Let them. That's their perception. Your job is not to maintain their comfort, it's to maintain your clarity. There's a difference between being kind and being available. You can have a good heart and still say no. You can be loving and still walk away. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out, they're doors to keep your soul safe. And the truth is, the more you grow, the more selective you have to become with your time, your energy, your access. Every time you say yes to someone who doesn't deserve it, you're saying no to yourself. Every conversation that drains you, every visit that leaves you heavy, every connection that feels forced, it's all a withdrawal from your emotional bank. You've got to start guarding your inner world like it's sacred, because it is. Your mind, your time, your energy, it's holy ground. Some people only come around to take, not to build. And if you don't draw the line, they'll keep coming. You can't teach someone how to value you. You teach them by what you allow. What you tolerate becomes the blueprint for how others treat you. So when you feel that energy shift, honor it. That's your soul trying to close a door for your protection. Access should match effort. If someone doesn't bring peace, positivity, or purpose into your space, they don't belong there. You're not rude for withdrawing. You're responsible. Responsible for the atmosphere you create around your life. If someone constantly triggers stress, doubt, or insecurity, it's not your job to fix them. It's your job to protect you. You get one mind, one body, one spirit, and the world will try to invade it in 1,000 ways. Protecting your peace means knowing when to walk away, when to go quiet, when to cut the cord without looking back. You don't owe anyone access just because they want it. Your energy is your currency. Spend it wisely. There's a kind of strength that never raises its voice. Stays still, watches, and moves with intention. That strength is silence. And when used with wisdom, it's one of the most powerful tools you'll ever carry. Because silence doesn't just avoid conflict, it ends it before it starts. When someone disrespects you, silence strips them of control. They expect a reaction. They want to trigger emotion. But when you give them nothing, you force them to sit with their own behavior. You hold up a mirror without saying a word. That silence echoes louder than any angry response could. It makes them question themselves instead of feeding off your reaction. You don't have to match anyone's energy. You don't have to explain your worth. Sometimes the most powerful move is no move at all. Let them talk, let them assume, let them misunderstand. Your silence is not weakness, it's strategy. Because real power isn't about proving, it's about knowing. And when you know who you are, you don't waste energy trying to convince anyone else. Silence creates space. And in that space, truth rises. While others are busy reacting, you're observing, you're collecting data, you're watching patterns, you're deciding your next move from a place of clarity, not chaos. The loudest person in the room often has the least control, but the quiet one, they're dangerous because they speak only when it's time to end the conversation. There are times when silence will say what 1,000 words never could. It speaks in restraint. It speaks in presence. It says, I heard you, but I'm not moved. That unsettles people who feed off conflict. They can't stand it when they can't get a rise out of you. But that's the point. The absence of a reaction is the reaction. You don't owe responses to everything. Just because someone throws fire doesn't mean you have to catch it. Let it burn out on its own. Let them wonder why you're unbothered. That mystery becomes your armor. While they try to provoke, you remain untouchable. While they scream, you're building in silence. That's how you win without making a sound. Silence isn't just about what you don't say. It's about the power you choose to hold. It's the pause before a move, the gap before a decision. And in that space, you remain grounded. You keep your dignity. You guard your peace. You don't give them the satisfaction of controlling your state, because your power doesn't live in reaction, it lives in restraint. Use your silence like a blade, sharp, precise, and only when necessary. Let it cut through noise. Let it guard your emotions. Let it be the reason they rethink ever trying you again. Not because you shouted, not because you fought, but because your stillness made it clear you don't play where peace isn't present. Peace begins where expectation ends. Most of the pain we feel doesn't come from what people do, but from what we thought they would do. You expected honesty and got lies. You expected support and got silence. You expected love and got conditioned. It wasn't the action that broke you. It was the expectation that never matched reality. When you expect loyalty from people who only show up when it benefits them, you're setting yourself up to bleed. Not everyone is built to match your heart. Some are just passing through. Some are only loyal to their need for you. The moment their need changes, so does their behavior. Expecting permanence from temporary people is how your peace gets stolen. You cannot keep giving deep love to shallow souls and wonder why you feel empty. Not everyone deserves the version of you that shows up fully. The more you expect realness from people who only wear masks, the more disappointed you become. The real betrayal isn't what they did. It's what you convince yourself they were capable of. Peace means meeting people where they are, not where you wish they'd be. It means accepting that some people will never say sorry, some will never appreciate you, some will never grow. And it's not your job to make them. Let go of the fantasy you created in your mind. Let go of the image you held onto for too long. Expectation creates false hope. You think if you love more, they'll change. If you're loyal enough, they'll stay. But love is not a currency that buys transformation. Loyalty doesn't fix broken character. The truth is, if they were going to be real, they already would have been. The longer you expect them to change, the longer you stay stuck in cycles that drain you. Stop expecting understanding from people who refuse to listen. Stop expecting depth from those who live on the surface. When you accept people for who they are, not who you imagine, you take back your power. You move from frustration to clarity. You stop trying to pull loyalty out of those who only know convenience. Your peace is too valuable to keep placing in the hands of the inconsistent. The moment you stop expecting, you start observing. You stop projecting your standards and start accepting their patterns. That shift is freedom. That shift saves you from the emotional roller coaster of misplaced trust. Expectation can make fools of the wise and prisoners of the free. But when you release it, when you stop hoping they'll become something they're not, you stop being disappointed. You stop being bitter. You start being whole. Peace lives where your standards remain high, but your expectations remain grounded in reality. The world will throw chaos at you, but your mind doesn't have to absorb it. Just like a fortress stands strong against the winds and the enemies outside its walls, your mind must be built to withstand whatever tries to invade your peace. You can't control what life sends, but you can control how you process, how you respond, how you think. The battle is always internal first. Training your mind is not about avoiding the storm. It's about learning to breathe in the middle of it. Calm is not something that appears magically. It's a discipline. It's forged in the moments you want to react but choose stillness. In the times you feel panic but speak peace to yourself instead. Strength isn't found in the absence of pressure, but in how well you carry it without breaking. Your thoughts are your guards. If they're weak, anything gets in. If they're strong, only truth survives. You have to teach your mind what to accept and what to reject. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every fear is real. Not every criticism needs to be internalized. Mental training is choosing to believe in peace over panic, logic over emotion, clarity over confusion. You can't let temporary emotions become permanent residents in your thinking. That's how chaos sneaks in. That's how fear takes root. The mind, untrained, will drift wherever emotion leads it. But a trained mind recognizes emotion without surrendering to it. A trained mind sees the storm but doesn't drown in it. It stands firm, like a fortress, unmoved by passing clouds. The calm mind is not blind. It sees the problem clearly, but instead of panic, it moves with purpose. Instead of rushing, it responds with wisdom. That kind of calm comes from repetition, from self-talk, from daily choices to guard your thoughts like gates. The more you train, the less you bend. The more you build, the less you break. Even in silence, the mind speaks. What it says determines your future. If it's filled with doubt, you move small. If it's filled with fear, you avoid growth. But if it's trained to stay grounded, to look inward, to trust itself, then no matter what storm comes, you stand tall. Your reality shifts the moment your thinking does. A fortress doesn't fear visitors because it knows its defenses. In the same way, a calm mind doesn't fear problems because it knows its strength. People will try to provoke you. Circumstances will try to shake you. But when your mind is trained, your peace becomes untouchable. You become dangerous in your stillness, unstoppable in your clarity. The storm isn't the problem, it's your response to it. When your mind is your fortress, you stop being a victim of emotional weather. You stop letting the outside world decide your inner temperature. You build strength, brick by brick, thought by thought, moment by moment. And in time, nothing disturbs you that doesn't deserve you. There's a difference between giving up and letting go. Detachment isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's knowing when your presence is no longer helping, when your energy is being wasted, when your peace is being traded for noise. Some battles aren't meant to be fought, they're meant to be walked away from. You don't always win by engaging, sometimes you win by disappearing. Energy is not unlimited. Every conversation, every thought, every emotional reaction is a withdrawal. The more you pour into what doesn't matter, the less you have for what does. Detachment is the discipline of choosing where your attention goes, and more importantly, where it doesn't. It's learning that silence isn't empty. It's full of direction. You don't owe your energy to everything that wants it. People will pull at your emotions, not because they care, but because they want control. If they can't get your energy, they lose their grip. That's the power of detachment. When you stop feeding what drains you, it starves. When you stop reacting, they stop winning. Detachment is not coldness, it's clarity. It's deciding that your peace matters more than proving a point. Not everything deserves a response. Not every situation needs closure. Not every insult needs a clapback. Some things need distance. Some people need silence. You gain peace the moment you realize that presence is a gift, not a guarantee. And not everyone deserves yours. Detachment gives you the ability to walk away without bitterness and to stay away without guilt. You don't have to be everywhere. You don't have to fix everything. Sometimes your healing is in your absence. Your breakthrough is in your exit. You don't heal by staying in the fire hoping it will stop burning. You heal by stepping out and choosing not to go back. Detachment is choosing yourself without apology. Detach from chaos. Detach from expectation. Detach from the outcome. You don't control what happens, only how you show up for it. And sometimes the most powerful way to show up is not to show up at all. Let the noise echo without you. Let the storm pass without your reaction. That's how you reclaim your strength. Detachment gives you space, And in that space, you remember who you are. You remember what you're building. You stop wasting your energy fighting distractions and start using it to build your future. You stop being emotionally rented by things that have no place in your purpose. Your absence becomes your answer. To win, you don't have to attend every battle you're invited to. Some victories come from staying quiet. Some wins come from walking away. The world will try to convince you that detachment is loss, but the truth is, it's freedom. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all.